Hello, hello, what's going on? This is Courtney Rollins with the Life and Transitions Experts podcast and YouTube Live. Also on Facebook Live at the Life and Transitions Experts Facebook group. Feel free to join any of those spaces. We are here as a community of folks who are committed to helping folks really navigate probate and estate and make and save money by solving problems and creating opportunities for income and wealth through real estate. So I know it's a mouthful, but this channel is often geared towards folks who are experiencing probate challenges or estate planning issues to help provide, at least my opinion. Again, I'm not, well, not again, but I'll say it now, I'm not an attorney or financial advisor, but I am a certified probate expert, which means I'm committed to understanding the process and sharing my opinions with you all. One of the other hats I wear is a real estate investor, and one of the ways that I am able to find properties is by solving problems. And quite often, in probate, there is real estate. Doesn't always mean it's geared perfectly for me as an investor, but the chances of finding some are higher. And when there isn't there, I still can support and help and try to solve problems and learn a lot in the process. Sometimes my content here is geared towards practitioners, towards investors. And one of the things that I love doing is deeply practicing and learning and studying really anything connected with personal development. Jim Rohn says your level of success can never succeed or exceed your level of self development. And I am a strong proponent for really growth, because the better I can be, the better I can, more value I can give to the world. And the more value I can give to the world, the more value that I receive, give, receive, cause and effect, all of that. And so today we're going to look at a very, very famous piece of personal development from one of the godfathers of personal development in the past century. Awesome book that many people have read and continue to read, that has helped change and impact so many people's lives. And that is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. We're going to go over 6 reasons why a lot of real estate investors love this book. Entrepreneurs, small business owners, people in general have fallen in love with this book time and time again. It has been republished over and over. Bob Proctor, shout out and RIP to him, a great personal development and prosperity development coach and instructor. Uh, the book changed his life. He read it for the 40 to 50 plus years. He would read it every single day, a little bit over and over. And that's one thing that's awesome about any book or anything. Just like Bruce Lee says, I'd fear the man who studied one kick 10,000 times as opposed to the man who studied 10,000 kicks, one time. So rereading over and over and over and letting you really gain understanding and finding new things about yourself every time that you read or study something is a great habit to have. I'll tell you, this book has really changed my life. 2020, well, 2019, I started the journey of wholesaling, and it took about 6 months for me to actually get my first deal. And I remember the big change was when I actually joined a community. Shout out to the Rhino Nation, Rhino Tribe at Wholesaling Inc. and Brent Daniels and the TTP Talk to People coaching program. And one of the things he emphasized was really studying and reading, and heard about Think and Grow Rich again. And I think when I was a young kid, I did read Think and Grow Rich, but it was hard to understand as a 13-year old. But I did come across it again through the coaching program, and I decided to read it, and I stuck to it. And I remember it was April 2020, and I was really just banging my head against the wall. I had about 11 deals that I had under contract, and none of them were able to go through. I was not locking them up properly. But regardless, one of the parts of this book was talking about how things begin with a thought, and you have to be able to believe. Emotionalized belief and desire, concrete, clear desire, has to be something that you have your eye on. And one way to do that is through affirmations that are emotionalized, that are specific, and that allow me to really visualize and bring forth uh, what I'm uh, what I desire through action. This isn't just some, I think about it and it just comes true. So say all that to say that April 2020, I set out and said, hey, I'm going to close three deals and have $30,000 in my bank account by June, by the end of June. And on June 5th, got the first deal. It was about $2,500. I was happy as can be. I had proof of concept finally. I didn't care that it was a relatively small amount for a wholesale deal. About 9 days later, got the next deal. It was only $1,000. Again, I was super happy. Wasn't upset that it was a super small deal. I was just like, man, this is happening. And on June 30th, 2020, went to the closing attorney and picked up my check for $27,000. Amazing. So $27,000 plus the $3,500 end up being $30,500. I must have the math off because I know it was 31,000 somehow it came up to. I remember it was 31,000, so I must have the numbers off. And the reason I say that is because actually that $27,000 deal, I had a deal with the end buyer that I would help pay $1,000 towards the cleanup of the house. And so I ended up with 30,000. So I was like, wow, I should have thought about more and asked for more. But it definitely solidified to me the power of thought, the power of action, the power of being clear with what you want and making sure that you again take action around what you want. So we're going to look at 6 reasons why real estate investors love this book. All right, number one is the mind shift. It really helps you set a new paradigm or reinforce a mindset that you may have had or that you absolutely need. Everything starts with a thought. Every single thing in the universe begins with a thought. And so being able to have the right mindset that allows me to approach the world of real estate investing is crucial. It's so important. So the book certainly talks about being able to have the right type of mindset when you're conquering or approaching or addressing any endeavor. So a shift in the mind, like I said, new mindset, new results, a beautiful thing. Another thing is that it had clear ways of setting, gives you a clear, concrete way of setting goals um, that allow you to march towards those. And in real estate investing, and really this, I said real estate investing because that's the niche of world that I'm in, but this really applies to any space. Um, if you don't know where you're going, then how in the world are you going to get there? You wouldn't send a telegram out in the world without just letters of the alphabet. You would put them in order, right? You wouldn't just jump in the car and just, well, some people jump in the car, just ride and cruise. But if you want to go somewhere, how are you going to get there? You have to have a clear goal. So beautiful thing about it. Another thing is the power of the mastermind. When two are together in agreement, you get really spiritual in this and you get very practical in this. Mastermind groups been around for ages, but to be able to this Napoleon Hill really emphasized being able to find communities of folks that you all can have the sum of your parts be greater, or the whole be greater than, whatever the phrase is, sum of your parts greater than the whole, or whole greater than, I don't know the phrase, but I know when people come together, there's some synergy, and one plus one could equal 1,000 as opposed to one plus one just equaling two. It'd be a transactional when you all on the same mindset and pushing each other. Um, so that's another reason real estate investors love this book because real estate is a team sport. Investing is definitely a team sport, and it encourages the desire, the need for persistence, perseverance, resiliency. When you start setting out on your goal, fortune that is definitely favorable to the bold, but there's also going to be obstacles, definitely. So it doesn't say that things are going to be easy for you, but with persistence and resilience, as the book encourages, you will build the tools and strengths that you need along the way to be able to handle some of the gifts that you have. Quite often, I've come to understand that sometimes I believe in God, so my God, things that I've asked for has tested me so that I have the tools and the strength to be able to handle what I've asked for. That's why you hear a lot of times people who win the lottery or don't, or any unearned success or benefits, quite often are not utilizing the best of their as they can, because you don't have the tools, you don't have the skills, you don't have the capacity to handle that. So perseverance and resilience builds up the strength, just like working out. You got to tear the muscles up, then you gotta let it rest and let them rebuild and keep going for it. For anything to really build. And again, the power of visualization and belief. Any spiritual, religion, faith, even science shows that if visualization, belief are so important when it comes to realizing your dreams or your desires, and it's sort of like goal setting, but being able to see it. You know, thinking from the end is the beginning of all miracles. I think Steve Jobs said that, or maybe he got that from Neville Goddard. But you have to, be before you can become. And so being able to visualize, even when you take it over to the space of sports, martial arts, um, visualize what they're doing, artists, I should say. Any athlete knows that there is increased in performance when they're able to visualize and see themselves going about what they're doing. And the same thing um, when you're trying to actualize some type of desire, visualization, and belief. And so he has whole sections on this in this great, awesome book, and that's one other reason why real estate investors appreciate it so much. And again, he's talking about Think and Grow Rich, and it's funny because it doesn't really talk about money as much in here, but it talks about the mindset, the tools, the practical way of adding value and seeing yourself and being and feeling that you are what you need to be. And as a result, prosperity comes. It's a byproduct. I think what's so awesome about it that's not as much spoken about this is that it is giving you the tools to find out how can I be useful to mankind? How can I serve my fellow man? And when I serve mankind, when I serve humanity, then the byproduct is riches, is wealth. And so that's one reason I absolutely love that. And those are 6 reasons right there why real estate investors, often many real estate investors, love that book and will speak about that book. I would love to chat with you about the book or about any part of your real estate journey. I don't charge anything. I love just building and bonding, and it's a way to mastermind. So feel free to check out calendly.com, Estate Pro Service. Let's chat. Let's talk about the journey, see how we might be able to support each other. And yeah, would love to hear from you. Love a like and subscribe wherever you listen to this. If you're listening to this on the podcast, would love a review. If you are if you're not listening to the podcast, and yeah, I always asked for a subscription, but I forgot. I thought I was going to say something else, but I can't quite remember right now. But regardless, this is the Life in Transitions Experts podcast, LITE. And I like to say, let your light shine. Cheers.